Attention gamers, this time last year I found the secret recipe that I predicted would become the build for every pro ADC at Worlds. I broke down the value of each item and showed its ruthless potential, and you know what happened? No one used my build because they don't respect the authority of a hard-stuck gold elo backseater, and that's why you lost sooning cuz critish. But I think if I just would have slapped Ross in front of a whiteboard to show that it all adds up, I would have had better chances of getting through to these professional idiots. So this year I am back with what I am 1000% positive will be the build that every ADC who picks one of these champs will be rocking. Picture a build that makes every auto attack hit so hard you can feel the recoil through your monitor. A build that makes you, the enemy team's primary focus, untargetable mid-fight. A build that helps you steal the kills for yourself. Yes, that's right, I have crafted the master plan for AD success, and today I'm going to walk you through the items, the runes, and illustrate firsthand why it's so strong on so many popular marksmen like this top-hatted hottie who no longer will need the fuzzy cuffs. Big Bitty Betty who gets some burstiness to go with her bustiness. Uber Eats Sivir who upgrades her deliveries to something that packs more of a punch. Counting Dracula with whom this build turns his fours into his whores. And the juggling Jagob who can finally turn the Rift back into the League of Draven. So for some of you this video will change the way you play ADC, and for others it will change the way you play League in general, because enter giveaway with the boys. Yes, in the description you can enter global giveaway where 2 peeps will win a free dank PC. Tons of ways to enter, do them all. I don't give a shit, I just want more Twitter cred. So Bella Porch will collab with me in the rap game and follows are free, so check that biz and let's get into the game. Now let's get into this biz. First item, Duskblade is so much better for any ADC that you actually want to use their abilities. On hit burst and as slow as just Outback Steakhouse bloomin' onions, good on that first auto, not to mention it gives so much ability haste directly and through its passive, plus the build path provides so much more value against champions early, unless you are more concerned with having a passive that helps against only minions. Collector second, as it gives you a safe transition into crit while using the lethality as crutches to help you get there still early enough into the game before people start building armor, not to mention its execute helps you secure early to mid game kill gold that you will need to be relevant as a piss shit ADC late. Third item, LDR. In Season 11 Riot went a little crazy with tacking health onto items. Here is a short list of items containing health, so at this point the passive on this will boost the butt fudge out of your damage as well as overcome the shortcomings over straight lethality builds by helping you against tanks. And considering it gives you crit, you can now finish your transition into Infinity Edge, which will now benefit from the 60% needed to capital A amplify those armor penetrating attacks, making you a force against squishies and tanks alike. Get whatever shoes fit your feet the best and finish with AGA, as everyone is gonna want you dead when they see what kind of damage you are doing at this point. For runes, you want to make sure enemies glow like stoplights when they are ready to take it in the ass, and then I recommend Healy shielding things across the board. But lastly, you either want to cut down or cut the grass depending on how tanky the enemy team looks. But enough talk, let's get into some games. Alright, round 1, I'm playing Pizza Hut Peggy here, and the game starts slow despite one death due to me acting like my minimap was as MIA as their mid laner Copium, but luckily this rotting bride goes full bitch in bondage, allowing me to fire an extra large pepperoni pie at their head dressed hula hooper for the assist. And while a Kiana support seems more sus than urinating into a public water fountain, I think this morgue can echo my sentiment that early it felt like a crunchy asshole flavored candy bar to deal with, but not to fear. A blind monk and a depressed toddler are here, so I'm on to make them run fast. Vex hits a purple Lee Sin Q and we chase these greedy losers down as I come in and say I only have one medium Za left, so you will have to share. That said, I don't know what it is about queuing support and wielding a giant glowing weaponized Fruit Loop, but this hoe was quite the hemorrhoid inside of Morg's sore asshole. Yet luckily her prison sentence was to be served in tower aggro, so my job that day boiled down to spectating that the death penalty was carried out. Then I see this strangely sexy garden snake up top glowing like some dude's forehead in a Tylenol commercial, looking quite hungry. However, to my surprise, an entire pizza frisbeed her way sparks no interest, but rest assured I was able to get her skinny ass to eat 2 slices right after. And when I am just spazzing out looking up my next delivery address, I see blind ass Billy running away from some shit fest that there's no way the poor fella could have seen coming, which ropes my ass in, so I offer the wall hacking elo inflated ram some cheesy goodness if he promises to piss off, and then Q would have been the move, but my accuracy has betrayed me before, so I opt to right click instead, and I'm happy to report blind Billy is still alive to tell his story today. Then a weird 19-minute gold hard stuck ARAM breaks out and I'm just barely dipping my toes into the fight like it's freezing water, thinking I'm not gonna frontline this bitch until that small cuck with the cannon develops a giant appetite for a buffalo chicken stuffed crust, so I make it extra spicy before telling visibility to piss off and flashing back out of the front line. The windshitter dies and no one is there to accept my next delivery as we Cold War this biznitch for a few seconds until that dipshit with the neon inner tube volunteers to get tied up and force-fed some fontanella so she dies, and then the promiscuous python spitting out her disgusting teeth at us learns a tough lesson that such behavior isn't generally accepted in our society. Fast forward to the family gathering where we are trying to milk this flapping wildebeest as Kane comes in trying to get all flashy on us, only to be outsmited by a single slice of deep dish dicking #get-fooked you dumb cuck, I'm the jungler now. Long story short, goth midget then gets pinned to a rock and given a dickin', and I'm over here looking at such a support performance thinking you must be one hungry hula hooper after that homicide, but she's like a stubborn kid running away until a last ditch effort to avoid this extra cheesy goodness ends in Rav getting that cheddar. Turns out their Yone indeed does shit wind as he gets revealed contesting a non-existent objective overextended in our neck of the woods, so I wait for the twat waffle to come back to his tether, hit a panic ult and deliver one domino style delight. And at this point Operation Rav's World's build is coming in nicely, so I boldly stare at the snake's tits knowing my grease bubble will protect me from getting found out, but then a disgruntled customer crawls inside of my asshole angry about anchovies, which gives me an uncoordinated scare before gaining my confidence back to confront him and say you're gonna eat these chovies and you're gonna like it. Then another ARAM breaks out as Reaper Randy crawls into Emo Annie's cousin's coochie purse and Lee couldn't see it, but I informed him why such behavior should be punished, so while he does just that I position in a way to deliver another deep dish dicking to this dumb shit right when he gets home, which if you are red team the situation turns from ARAM into oh fuck as Vex and Lee illustrate how Riot is recycling mechanics before both get caught staring at the perky nips on that python as I swoop in with the snipe. But our scouting report of the other team informed us that their Trist and Yone haven't read the patch notes from 2010 when a giant raging worm was added to the game and could give one team a huge advantage, which leaves the rest of them forced to line up single file and request permission to attend the party one at a time, but we tell the first bitch that no props are allowed, and then after we finish jerking off the toothy flailing river wiener we inform cast that few people enjoy having snakes around and typically if they can safely catch you, they will kill you. And at this point I have the damage column of my item resume filled out, which means this Kane is in for some pain, but he opts to become a tenant of my taint temporarily until eventually I hit a bowel movement into burst combo, which gives me the privacy I need to pull a slimy slice out of my pocket and shove it down Yone's throat, as Trist illustrates why a normal ADC can't compete with one that's one shot building this tech, to which my support inquires about the level of erectness I'm rocking. And after quarantining for 2 years and losing the majority of my social skills, the only reasonable answer I can come up with quickly is bricks. But this earns me my GA, so cue the super short Rav misplays, but it doesn't matter because he's full build montage. Okay, Q round 2. I want to count to 4 a bit, but their Jax is all like imagine if I had a real weapon. Kate is like imagine if I had a real support, and I'm like imagine if I could play one fucking game of this toxic piss pit with real teammates who don't hate each other's guts and focus more on winning the game than winning some dumb as shit 3rd grade level maturity argument in chat. Jesus Christ, sometimes this community makes me want to fist my own. Moving on, I'm playing the giant-headed egomaniac with Nautilus rocking the skin that makes him look like some freakishly large Mexican restaurant appetizer, and clearly he was in the mood to int his giant tin ass off as he picks an early engage with a pinky toenail's worth of health rip. Then he opts to be more blind than the literal blind shitter, coming in for the gank by deciding to go all in when he's holding a 4 of clubs and a fucking 7 of hearts. He then completes the hopeless hat trick, to which I am sure this man that said I will lose viewers if I flame my supports isn't too happy right about now, but I'm more concerned with having to stay in lane to deal with swollen Stanley. As you can see, a flaming mistake making his way down and color me conservative, but as an underleveled ADC with a 3rd health, no mana, and an entire graduating class from midget Hogwarts between me and the 3 people you just dove into, I'm gonna say don't freaking draw question marks on me afterwards, Bucky Brown. But don't forget this build turns boys into men, so when Guacamole Nachos Nawless makes that genetically modified caterpillar jump, I hit an admiration stack ejaculation to claim a very fat stack of cash in this strategy of having my tin twat point and click on the spitting neon worm so that I can spiky tire tap his tiny fluorescent ass becomes our staple as we take this show on the road, or the river I guess, and the performance that we have now practiced involving making guests jump and then me juggling sharp objects off of their dumb dying domes becomes a stable gig, and I start to rack up some decent income from it. And when the bad dudes try to get a little frisky in our forest with the overweight car mechanic, they are in for a rude awakening. Side note, this game literally could have been Aatrox Syndrome, as this one was as dumb as a dog, but I wasn't complaining because he was paying, and then I unironically started doing work in this team fight while simultaneously wondering how any human is dexteritily developed enough to actually play this juggling Jakob to his full potential, because God knows I was running in all sorts of random ass directions trying to catch my spinny shitters, but long story short, I flashed to get an execute on this Lee. Oh well, at least we can be thankful for this large Lucifer and the fact that his mom did the cokey sniffles off a bus station railing when she was preggers with him. Oh hey, in case you've been living under a Malphite, there's a new champ, her name is Vex, she's depressed all doom and gloom and I have found a way to make her disappear, hee hee xd. Then I gather mid with the boys because a little birdie told me that this Lee was in the mood to sin, and oh did we catch him in the act, so I hit the chainsaw yo-yo simulator to earn my certification as a deity. Okay, who wins this? Comment below. A 9 and 1 fed as fuck ADC or a season 11 champ who is like 4 and 6? But in the next fight, when my walking mini putt-putt course obstacle of a support goes full Alexis Texas and gets railed by 4 at once, I pop the gloomy girl like a damn piñata, and after I queef out a quick panic flash, I decide to come back for more because the monkey too is now a deity. Look out, Cincinnati Zoo. And despite me seemingly being unable to grasp the rudimentary concept that you have to walk forward and not backward when bouncing axes, I eventually make it there to steal credit for killing the floating feeder in red. Then the blind bimbo gets caught giving Optimus Prime the lazy eye stare down, so he's rocking the flea as Ari fails her audition as a traffic cone, but one spinny boy procs Lee's last lifeline, and I'm like, what, you gonna use phone a friend now, cause I almost killed that bitch in the process as well. This lets us put our base breaching briefs on, but a small overly negative goth invites herself into my personal space, which scares the shit out of me, but I snap out of it just in time to wet ass pussy punch that mad midget in the face. Then the opportunistic caterpillar makes himself available for a slap so hard it could be put on YouTube, covered by like 80 YouTubers, and then copyright striked against Rav the second he makes a video on it. Totally not bitter, RIP Rav rambles. But what's important to realize is when we were all had our dentures in chomping on some red meat. Despite me positioning worse than a raw cucumber at a female's prison, I give that Vex a death complex, and then I attribute my survival to Duskblade as I go incognito for a moment before saying peekaboo, I'm over here bitch, to the blind boy. Then the fight should be over, but this is Goldie Low, so some glowing cater P is all like trying to spit on us, so I promptly shit on him like a dumbass. He is speak of the devil, it's Aatrox who gets removed. I call Ari a slut for stealing the penta that I wouldn't have gotten anyways because I'm toxic and bad, but it's cool because you know who is now full build, boys? That's right, it's me, and I'm gonna make sure this Olaf deprived child knows about it before illustrating what would have been a clean double if I did name my ult at planet Mars itself, which unironically almost killed Zyra. Hashtag totally knew she was there, cough cough. But let the record show that Lee and Aatrox arrive to get their mindless death as if it's a freaking daily quest for them at this point. And this brings us to the end where I showed this plant how I can back up having such a big head, and with that I can't wait to see every single ADC rocking this masterpiece of a build at Worlds. And subscribe please. Rav out.
They ask how I rap like I'm the baby. Your girl in my DMs and she going crazy. She asked to come over, I'm telling her maybe. I'm busy, I'm chasing the check.